The one everyone called stupid changed an entire village's mind in a single night. Today I'll tell you about a donkey who became the greatest hero when all hope seemed lost. This story will completely shatter everything you think you know about intelligence and heroism. In a remote village called Millfield lived the most ridiculed animal anyone had ever seen, a donkey named Murphy. Murphy had a severe limp from a childhood accident that left his left leg permanently damaged. Village kids would throw stones at him, laughing, "Look at the crippled donkey. He can't even walk straight." Even his owner, Farmer Bill, saw him as a burden. "This worthless animal can't plow, can't carry loads properly. Why do I even feed him?" But Murphy possessed something extraordinary that nobody recognized, and supernatural ability to predict weather disasters. Hours before storms hit, Murphy would pace nervously. When floods were approaching, he'd refuse to enter low-lying areas. The other farm animals unconsciously followed Murphy's lead, never realizing their lives depended on the donkey they all ignored. Farmer Bill's entire future hung on this year's corn harvest. He'd mortgaged his farm, borrowed against his house, and invested every penny into premium seeds. His wife was pregnant with their third child, and medical bills were piling up. If this crop failed, they'd lose everything: their home, their land, their livelihood. The weather forecast showed rain, but nothing alarming. Just normal September showers, the meteorologists promised. Murphy knew they were all wrong. 5 days before the storm, he began exhibiting behavior that seemed completely insane. He'd climb to the highest point of the farm, braying desperately as if screaming a warning. The entire livestock began following him: 8 cows, 5 horses, 15 sheep, and 3 pigs, all trailing behind the limping donkey. Murphy was literally herding them to higher ground, over and over again. "That crazy donkey has lost his mind," neighbors laughed. "Look at him dragging our animals up that hill for no reason." Farmer Bill was mortified. "Murphy, get back here. You're making us the laughingstock of the entire county." But Murphy's urgency only intensified. He seemed to be preparing for something catastrophic that only he could sense. Then the storm hit with biblical fury. What meteorologists had predicted as light rain became the worst flood in the region's recorded history. Within 3 hours, water levels rose 12 feet above normal. The valley where Bill's precious corn crop grew disappeared under raging torrents. Bill watched in absolute horror as his family's future literally washed away before his eyes. But then the impossible happened. The floodwater, instead of destroying everything, began acting like a massive conveyor belt. The powerful current was ripping up Bill's corn stalks and carrying them in one direction, straight toward the hill where Murphy had been leading the animals for days. The donkey had somehow predicted not just the flood, but the exact path the water would take. Murphy sprang into action with intelligence that stunned everyone watching. He organized the livestock into a perfect formation, the largest animals forming an outer barrier, smaller ones filling gaps, creating a living dam that caught the floating corn stalks. Murphy, despite his painful limp, positioned himself at the most dangerous point where the water flow was strongest. For 8 terrifying hours, as the storm raged and water crashed against them, Murphy held his position. His injured leg was clearly agony, but he refused to abandon his post. The other animals, inspired by his unwavering courage, maintained the barrier. Together, they performed a miracle, saving nearly 70% of Bill's crop from total destruction. Dawn revealed the most incredible sight the village had ever witnessed. While neighboring farms were completely devastated, Bill's harvest lay safely collected behind the animal barrier that Murphy had masterminded. In a disaster that destroyed millions of dollars in crops across the region, one limping donkey had saved a family from financial ruin. The transformation in people's attitudes was instantaneous and complete. The same neighbors who had mocked Murphy just days before now gathered around him with tears streaming down their faces. "This donkey is a genius," they whispered in awe. While we were calling him stupid, he was orchestrating our salvation. Children who had thrown stones at Murphy now brought him apples and sugar cubes. "Murphy, you're the smartest animal in the world," they declared. The village mayor announced, "From this day forward, Murphy will be honored as our official village guardian. Never again will we judge anyone by their limitations." News of the miracle donkey spread like wildfire across social media. Agricultural experts, animal behaviorists, and meteorologists came from universities worldwide to study Murphy's incredible weather prediction abilities. Farmer Bill's family became overnight celebrities, appearing on talk shows to share their story of the donkey who defied all expectations. But the most profound change was in Murphy himself. The donkey who once walked with his head down in shame now carried himself with quiet confidence. His limp, which everyone had seen as a disability, had actually enhanced his sensitivity to barometric pressure changes and ground vibrations that preceded severe weather. Today, Murphy has his own climate-controlled barn, premium feed, and round-the-clock veterinary care. Insurance companies consult his behavior patterns. The National Weather Service has requested permission to study his predictions. He's become living proof that what society labels as weakness might actually be extraordinary strength in disguise. Farmer Bill frequently tells reporters, "Murphy taught me the most important lesson of my life: never underestimate anyone based on their appearance or physical challenges." The one we thought was the weakest turned out to be the wisest when it mattered most. He didn't just save our crops, he saved our entire way of thinking. Murphy's story has inspired millions worldwide, becoming a symbol of how true intelligence and heroism can exist in the most unexpected places. Schools now teach his story to combat bullying. Disability rights organizations use his example to show that limitations don't define potential. This incredible true story proves that every living being possesses unique gifts that might not be immediately visible. Murphy's physical challenge didn't determine his worth; his courage, wisdom, and selfless dedication did. In one night, he transformed from village outcast to global inspiration, demonstrating that real strength comes from the willingness to protect others, regardless of personal cost. If this story moved you, smash that like button and subscribe for more incredible true stories that will change how you see the world. Share this with someone who needs to remember their own hidden superpowers. What examples of unexpected heroism have you witnessed in your life? Drop your stories in the comments below.